Let's go to the National Assembly, where Speaker Justin Muturi is expected to rule on whether the House will continue debating 7 bills seeking to change the Constitution or not, owing to the Court of Appeal judgment that dealt a definitive blow to the Building Bridges initiative. Kennedy Muredi has the details of this new battlefront that may have the judiciary and legislature at loggerheads.
The Court of Appeal ruling that annulled the Building Bridges initiative and seemingly hit the proverbial last nail on the initiative's coffin may have far-reaching ramifications if discussions on the floor of the National Assembly today are anything to go by.
Honorable Speaker,
Garissa Township MP Aden Duale, raising on a point of order, sought to have the Speaker pronounce himself on the fate of the 7 constitutional bills before Parliament that have some elements of the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020, better known as the BBI Bill, such as the appointment of MPs as cabinet secretaries, and introduction of the position of Prime Minister, essentially seeking to know if the House was at liberty to continue debate and eventual passage now that the courts have thrown out the original bill.
could it be prudent for the House, Mr. Speaker, to suspend any further processing of these bills and legislative proposals until a determination is made on the application of the basic structure doctrine on each of them?
The question of the basic structure doctrine is captured by the 7-judge bench at the Court of Appeal and the 5-judge bench at the High Court, being the bone of contention and how the House would navigate this minefield.
If it applies to everything, then everybody, including the judiciary itself and the highest office, which advised the president to dissolve parliament for not doing something about the constitution, then they would have to tell us how are we to do it.
Duale clearly suggesting that the Speaker should stop any further processing of the bills, something those allied to President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga see as mischief from the Deputy President William Ruto's allies.
We don't want to go and engage and use resources of this House into the shenanigans and the intimidation and the bribery and the coercion that was synonymous with the BBI train.
Members also opening a new front with the judiciary, accusing it of taking up the roles of the legislature and the executive in what they term as imposition of laws that limit the other arms of government working.
If we need to have a meeting with the judiciary so that they can see the implications of what they are doing, so be it.
Or maybe perhaps clarify whether before we attempt any amendment to the Constitution, we need to go to them, kneel before them and ask them, is this touching on the basic structure?
This House has a legitimate legislative power and authority vested on it by the people of Kenya through enactment of the 2010 Constitution that cannot be taken away.
The courts have their room to interpret the law as we legislate.
This parliament should not have its hands tied on any issue before the sun.
If you cannot bring change through a constitutional process, you will be tempted to look for extra constitutional means.
Speaker Muturi is expected to direct the House on how to proceed after they resume from recess. Kennedy Muredi, NTV.